Hi everyone, Phil Travis here, and it is N Mossy. This is my one of my dogs, my little dog Mossy, who's joining us for the announcement, and you'll see why in just a second. He's part of the factoid for this week. This is AMH 1020, and this week we'll be covering the First World War. In addition, of course, we have our first test this week. We will have the test covers all the material we've covered in class so far, as well as this week. Please refer to the study guide to prepare for the test. Test is generally multiple choice, true, false, and there's a couple of short identification questions. Make sure that your identification questions are, specific, and do a good job of addressing. Mossy, you got to stay here because you're part of the factoid. Hold on a second. Do a good job of addressing the who, what, the when, and the where, and the why. Just make sure you write as thorough a response as you can that fully explains that you understand the subject. Please do not copy and paste any response or anything like that. Make sure everything is answered as you take the test. So the test is due by Sunday at midnight, and it covers all the material we've covered so far in the class. You can refer to your readings and so forth in your notes or my presentations as well, my lecture presentations. And again, this week we are going to be looking at the First World War. Now I'm going to make this announcement a little bit short. I've been kind of under the weather, and I've got a headache right now, so I'm gonna make this announcement a little bit short. So we get to the factoid here. If you have any questions, email me and let me know any questions you have, and I will respond to any questions or concerns. So the factoid is this, and remember, email me this factoid no later. Like many of you have been doing this, so you're getting extra credit points. Email me the factoid no later than Wednesday by midnight, and get that extra point added to a test score at the end of the term. It'll really help your grade at the end of the term. Well, let me just show you one more time, and then I'm going to let Mossy get down because it's kind of hot. This is Mossy. So Mossy gets his name from a little bit, and he's hot, so I'm going to let him down. All right, buddy, you get down. Mossy gets his name from a family relative, and so the factoid this week relates to family history, genealogy. I am of English heritage. I'm the first of my family born, the first generation born over on this side of the Atlantic. My mother was born in England, and so I have a lot of history connecting back to the United Kingdom. And my great uncle Mossman, his name was Mossman, and everybody called him Mossy. Mossman during World War One lied about his age so he could join the British Navy and serve during the First World War. And he served on a British minesweeper in the British Navy during World War One. Minesweepers were these vessels that basically went through the English Channel and the North Sea looking for mines that were laid by German ships and German U-boats and so forth to destroy British shipping, whether military or merchant. And this was part of an attempt by the Central Powers, led by Germany, to sort of break the British blockade of Germany. So one of the biggest factors of the First World War was the naval war, particularly in the North Atlantic, the North Sea, and in the English Channel, as the British used their very sizable above water navy to blockade Europe and prevent the German army from getting many of its supplies. And in response, the Germans responded with a myriad of naval counter offensives, I suppose is what you would call them. They used undersea boats or U-boats to great effect to try to sink shipping associated with aiding the British war effort. They also, of course, used mines, which would be submergible mines that would be placed in the water by boats, and then when a ship comes along and hits it, it sinks the ship, of course. And so my uncle Mossman, Mossy for short, lied about his age to join the British Navy, in which he served on which was a pretty dangerous thing to do, served on a British minesweeper ship that was designed to locate enemy mines and remove them from places like the English Channel. It could be a very dangerous, as you can imagine, a very dangerous duty to have. But of course, Mossman was very proud to do that, hence why he lied about his age and volunteered for the war effort. Many people on all sides did this during World War One. The experience of many, particularly those, and as I finish up here, particularly those that fought in the army, for example, on the continent, did not find the First World War to be kind of what they imagined it would be at the beginning. At the beginning, many people signed up for the war expecting that this war would be, sort of like a quick war, a place where a soldier would make a difference, if you will, a place where a person might become a hero or a man. And so initially, people, flocked to enlist to the war, and of course, the war ultimately became the most brutal war up to that point, surpassed in brutality only by the Second World War, in which armies became stalemated in trenches and fought a very brutal conflict that resulted in many of the major combatant powers, like Germany, suffering over 50% casualty rates for all enlisted soldiers in the entire war, which is an incredible figure. The war maimed people psychologically, it maimed people physically, and it took upwards of nearly 10 million people, soldiers, combatants, to their grave as a result. So it was a particularly devastating and horrifying war, and one in which an individual soldier, could do very little on a place like the Western Front in Belgium, for example, to make a difference on the ground, right? Just because of the nature of the war with machine guns and heavy artillery, and so forth. Anyway, that's the factoid. My great uncle Mossy, who's now the name of my little dog, in kind of memory of him, who lied about his age during the First World War to join the British Navy and serve on a minesweeper. Okay, guys, let's have a great week, and let me know if you have any questions. Email me that factoid no later than Wednesday by midnight, and I hope it's something that interests you. I hope these factoids are fun, and let's have a great week.